that where can identity politics take you? It doesn't take you any place good. So that's my
Can I just add one little thing?
Here we go.
I think whataboutism leads us nowhere. What about Chicago, 33 shot and over the weekend 5 killed? What about Philly, the 2 pregnant women? What about the Bronx, the 11-year-old? What about? That does not alter the fact that what happened in Buffalo was a white, racist mass murder of mostly black people. And everything else is true that you said, Greg?
But I didn't even say that. There was no whataboutism in there. What you're doing is you're redefining what I said, Geraldo. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. What I'm talking about is context. If you don't like context, that's your issue.
Well, if you don't like to talk about white racism, then the rest of it isn't.
What did I say? No. I'm talking about how a crime could have been prevented and how all of these could have prevented. That's the string in all these. I never disowned the fact that the guy is racist.
Right. And I think that the fact that all of these things could have been prevented is what is frustrating and why you have 75 or more people in America saying that the country's going in the wrong direction. Okay, billionaires going to battle. Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos slam President Biden over inflation and his failed leadership.
The real president is whoever controls the teleprompter. You know, it's like the path to power is the path to the teleprompter. This administration it doesn't seem to get a lot done. The Trump administration, leaving Trump aside, there were a lot of people in the administration who were effective at getting things done. So this administration seems just to not have like the drive to just get done.
And the White House getting pushback from the world's second richest man, billionaire Jeff Bezos, for trying to claim greedy corporations which don't pay enough in taxes are to blame for inflation. Bezos tweeting, "Look, a squirrel." This is the White House's statement about my recent tweets. They understandably want to muddy the topic. They know inflation hurts the neediest the most, but unions aren't causing inflation, and neither are wealthy people. You know, on Bezos, so he owns the Washington Post, Greg, but Musk, hasn't Musk, even though he doesn't own Twitter yet, become much more of a person with a bully pulpit now? He's become much more preachy, much more publicly opinionated.
I think he's showing people how to use Twitter. Yesterday, there was this really long thread from the Twitter CEO explaining how hard it is to estimate the number of bots, and it went on forever. And then Musk just responded with a single emoji. Very Gutfeldian because it was poop. And it was just like, you know what? That's how you do it. And it was like
Amber Heardian.
Yes, Amber Heardian. Very much so. But, you know, he says he was a Democrat his entire life until now. And I think he's kind of emblematic of a lot of Democrats who are forcing themselves to make a choice, whether they try to maintain he's moderate to me, a centrist, or become part of the woke joke. And I think, you know, as Joe, you know, when he said that Joe Biden is mainly just a teleprompter, what he's just saying is that Joe's controllers have picked the cult. And that's why people are leaving, which I happen to agree.
So do you agree, Dana, that Musk is saying Biden is not responsible for the bad things, that it's the operators behind Biden that are really responsible for what's going on?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the president has the ability to also edit what's in the teleprompter, and he could give the people who work for him better direction or clearer direction. And in some ways, I think that he is the one that's, look, I don't like blaming other people that work for him for doing all of these things because he is the president. The buck stops with him. You can't impeach Ron Klain. He's the chief of staff, right? So if you think that they're going in the wrong direction, to me, that is a Joe Biden problem. The issue with this one, which is very interesting, is that Bezos is no right-wing critic either. And neither were Larry Summers or Jason Furman. And Morgan Stanley came out yesterday and very specifically said that the 40-year highs in inflation are due to the American Rescue Plan and excess stimulus. And that's what Larry Summers was saying for a long time. Like, they won't even listen to their own people. So they've written off their right-wing and I say from the middle right all the way to the far right. They have written off all of those people, but they're not even listening to the people who want them to succeed. And that is why they have these blind spots. They try to claim that they're like cutting the deficit, and they even got laughed at by liberal fact checkers.
Bezos, though, particularly, and Amazon, what do they pay? They avoided $5 billion in tax. They pay a 6% tax on $35 billion. You know, Bezos, Musk, Buffett paid 3.4% Emily, in tax. I mean, it seems that the rich guys, to the Biden administration's credit, the rich guys are skating when it comes to paying.
That has nothing to do
fair
with
share of tax.
inflation.
Yeah, but to me, inflation.
Well, that's true. But what about?
But what about?
What about?
Exactly.
Okay, that's 2 strikes against you.
But it still doesn't take away from the fact that inflation is the greatest tax on the poor. Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and his prior companies, they have employed sometimes regionally, especially for Amazon, that he's been the largest employer in some areas of the country. I think when the government focuses on what they can claw back from hardworking Americans who are providing literally community service, who are thriving the economy because of the amount of health care they're providing and insurance and the like through their companies, that to me is absolutely a shell game they're playing. And to your point about Elon Musk voting Democrat, exactly. And yet the Democrat Party has called him both a robber baron and racist for him trying to spark free speech and to actually get to the root of this social media platform that hides behind an algorithm that they created, that humans created, that does nothing but foment angst in this country. I think it's ridiculous. And clearly they are ignoring common sense, to your point, Dana, because they both got it right when they said inflation was underneath Joe Biden's purview. It's 100% under his watch.
But to use the word ridiculous, isn't it ridiculous that Bezos and Musk are trying to make people feel sorry for them?
You're ridiculous, Geraldo. I saw yesterday, Greg.
Hey, what do you mean by that?
You're ridiculous.
Ridiculous in what?
So your mustache is ridiculous. I think Musk must be watching the 5 because literally Greg called Biden lazy yesterday. And he came out and said the same thing today, that this guy has no drive. That is very interesting.
I think that's a bit of a stretch.
Fine, maybe.
Also, Elon Musk said that yesterday morning.
But I also did the same ideas.
I did say
And he does the poop emoji.
That's how I only communicate.
We're the Musk of the 5.
Yes.
We're dictating the whole policy of the administration.
It's very
careful what you say.
It is very significant that these 2 men, Bezos and Musk, 2 guys that are admired by the left. Bezos got us through COVID with Amazon. Where would it be without online shopping? And then Musk is doing all the electric cars. They're both going into space, titans of industry. And these guys have turned on the president of the United States. Ben Bernanke came out yesterday, said they just blew it with the spending and the rates. JP Morgan, again, Wall Street's turning on him. These liberal billionaires, independents, whatever you want to call them. Biden was supposed to be the establishment. He was supposed to get us back to normal, where everything goes back to normal. And now these guys that wanted Biden, that installed Biden, Bezos installed Biden, there's no doubt about that. The Washington Post, Amazon, the donations, Silicon Valley, Wall Street, they sent all the dough to this campaign.
Buyer's remorse?
Now they're having buyer's remorse. This guy is not what he said he was going to do, and they're calling him out for all of his lies.